Hey guys, Hayden Wayne here, and I want to get into something with you guys real quick that I think a lot of people are missing. Now, I know everybody has read this article, but there's a specific part that I want to focus in on. So, subscribe if you haven't, and let's go ahead and get into it. Like I said, everybody has been talking about this article. Former owner of Concord developer shaken to the core by game's failure, but ignoring any discussion of DEI or wokeness leading to its downfall. Now, I encourage you, go over to that Park Place and read the article if you haven't yet, but there is a specific part of this that I want to focus on, and it's right down here. And it says, now, a source close to Probably Monsters informs that Park Place that Probably Monsters has been shaken to its core due to not only the game's failure, but to the extent that it failed. While the company and its employees have been shaken by the failure, one thing that is not shaking them, and that they are not even acknowledging, is the game's embrace of woke ideology and diversity, equity, and inclusivity, DEI. Interestingly, this source also informed that Park Place that the company did indeed have discussions beforehand about how heavy it would embrace woke ideology. Now, right now, I do want to bring up that DEI and the woke ideology are two different things. Now, I know, we use them as a colloquialism meaning the same thing. However, people are forgetting that Bridge exists, and it is not a rebranding of DEI. Bridge used to be a DEI monitoring company that started a plan on how to get rid of DEI departments and the messaging that was being pushed toward people. Right here, as shown in the game's final product, it does not appear that dissenting voices were able to bring any reason to those wanting to insert the woke ideology, and it now appears executives want to bury their heads in the sand. Here's the point: they can ignore this because of the way that they're going about it. If we go over to the Bridge page, right here, whenever you open it up, we'll just read over this real quick. Bridge is a purpose-driven community biased to action, focused on the workplace, workforce, and marketplace. Now listen, because this is important. The Bridge mission is to create a cultural shift in companies where DEI principles flow through all facets of an organization, from the C-suite and marketing through product development, procurement, and customer service. Now, this isn't just your typical DEI program. This is building the bloodstream of a company to where this is included constantly, as in people go home from work and they still do these things. With the variety of programs that Bridge offers, including proprietary research, storytelling workshops, events, and more, we identify, dismantle, and rethink the structures in place that currently contribute to the gap in belonging, representation, inclusion, diversity, and equity. Bridge is an acronym for these. Our long-term goal, with the help of our founding members, composed of DEI and business leaders, is to create a comprehensive Bridge agenda for all companies and to subsequently certify against its implementation and measure its impact. They want to help bring this into all companies. Now, we could go further into the fact that Sony is a partner, but we're not talking about a company that Sony built. The company in question is actually not Firewalk Studios, but it is Probably Monsters. Probably Monsters was started by Harold Ryan, and the easiest place to find this information is just go to Halopedia to find out who he is. He was credited as a test manager of Halo Combat Evolved. He also served as a test manager and producer for Halo 2 on Bungie.net. He became studio manager at the start of 2006 and led a team of 115. As of 2008, he was head of the entire company. Ryan resigned in early 2016 and was succeeded as CEO by Pete Parsons. Alright, So that's just to give you a little bit of background of who Harold Ryan is and some of what he's done. He was involved in Destiny and Halo, and so the guy's a big name in gaming. I found this interview from 2021, and it's a GameIndustry.biz interview. So a lot of them, they talk about Probably Monsters raises $200 million to make games with a people-first culture. Now, what does that mean, you may ask? Well, they get into it a little bit. And I'll explain a little bit to you that it's not the good thing that it sounds like. This is more of a way to push down what they think and what they feel and ignore any of the dissenting opinions. Now, we're not going to read all of this because it really just talks about his startup. And here they talk a little bit about how they made, $200 million, was the target for accelerating, blah, blah, blah. He adds, one of the key goals of Probably Monsters is to build sustainable studios and to put people first, as we did it. And raising at this level really allows us to make commitments to our team that go beyond any one game or partner. When we asked if this money was raised with an eye toward pushing the Probably Monsters roster beyond its 3 current studios, single-player adventure game maker Cauldron Studios, online multiplayer team Firewalk Studios, and a yet-to-be-named co-op RPG studio, Ryan avoids committing to anything but says building new studios and building new game universes is a core part of our DNA, and it's a core part of our future-looking plan. Now, that sounds great, but we all know Firewalk Studios was the creator of Concord, okay? Whenever we jump down a little bit, they do a little bit more talks, but here is where it gets a little bit interesting. We have our platform teams, which were built and structured to focus there, and our games teams, which were built to focus on their team, their culture, and ultimately their audience once they bring their games to market. And even as a game development company, starting with a strong, proper training and leadership process and mentorship built into the company, I think is really unique. But when you look at game studios and how they're built, Ryan has been on message since Probably Monsters first stepped into the light, so we asked him how that plan has come together in the years since. The hard thing really has been convincing people that we mean it, Ryan says. It takes an effort to have people pause and take time to invest in both themselves and in putting the people around them first before they get to the product. We've seen the people who work at these companies. We know what their ideology is, and those people are put before the product. Okay? He adds, often teams come to me initially and say, here's our development plan. And I'm like, no, what's your people plan? First, tell me the words and the practices you want to use to convey the internal culture of your studio or of your team. All of our team sit on the baseline of trust and respect and approachability and accountability. But inside the team, how they work and when they work, what their customer goals are, what the words they use for mentorship, empowering, and guiding inside their teams are all things they build up on their own. So these companies are allowed to build their own internal culture, which sounds like a good thing. But again, we've seen the people who work at these places. If we jump over to the Probably Monsters website, the first thing we get here, we don't just want to make better games, we want to make gaming better. At Probably Monsters, we have a unique way of inspiring creativity. We're an independent game company building a healthier culture by bringing together a diverse roster of development teams in a collaborative environment. Listen, guys, this was in 2020 was when they were building up a lot of this stuff. We know what diverse meant by that point. Okay, this isn't backtracking to just say, oh, we like diversity. No, this is the speak that we have all come to know and recognize. We believe gaming deserves a better future. They're looking for bold thinkers, dreamers, And then they've got their leaders, and at face value, none of these people look too crazy. And I've gone through and looked through it all. There's a couple in there that just their pictures make them seem a little bit questionable, but we're not going to couch on that. But if you look at their teams, they have Barge, Hidden Grove. But first, let's go to the page for Firewalk Studios. Now, this page was curated after they left Probably Monsters, but I think you might see some similarities in what the team does. If we just go down to our culture, Firewalk is building a world-class next-generation game studio where people come first. We believe in building a more sustainable approach to game development, which is why they tried to do some games as a service thing. For us, setting a high-quality bar, creating something extraordinary, and treating each other with trust and respect go hand in hand. Now again, I want to reiterate, this is stuff that we're seeing. I don't know that Probably Monsters or any of these other studios have direct ties with Bridge, but I do know that Sony has direct ties with Bridge. And they say here, as a part of PlayStation Studios, we are able to focus on what we do best, making exceptional games. It's not just our goal to create industry-leading gaming experiences, but also to provide a well-resourced environment that enables our talent to build long-term careers within Firewalk. Now, if we go to Barge, which is another one of the teams that's being created by Probably Monsters, we can very quickly look at the very first thing we see here. We're a team of developers who loves making original games together with our fans. By listening to diverse opinions and remaining passionately curious, we grow together as a team and a community. We believe great games are born from learning, evolving, and shaping the future together. And once again, I just want to jump back over here. As shown in the game's final product, it does not appear that dissenting voices were able to bring any reason to those wanting to insert the woke ideology. Okay, this isn't just about DEI. This is bigger. This is about the culture inside of these studios and these companies. And if you remember, whenever they put out the Concord trailers and gameplay, a lot of people were very unhappy with it, and they just chose to ignore that. So this was Barge. They have a couple of interesting things here on the site. They've got, whole meet the team, their benefits, and a lot of their benefits and things like that, they sound great, but we also know how they've pushed deeper into corporate culture, where if you don't fall in line with the things that they want, well, you might not be able to get some of the certain things that you're offered, right? Bonuses, incentives. It's all based on Bridge stuff, and these guys are speaking the Bridge language. Hidden Grove is the other company that Probably Monsters is still building up. In here, we believe games bring people together. It's just part of who we are. At Hidden Grove, we inspire each other to be our best selves so we can achieve what we never thought possible. It all starts with putting gameplay at the center of everything we do. We're not afraid to take risks. We also remain grounded, always keeping design at the forefront. We know the best games are the ones that have a clear vision and meet the needs of players. That's why we don't stop until we find the magic in both. And if we scroll down a little bit, there's their team. Nothing questionable there. We'll just continue to scroll. Culture first. We are a team driven to create entertainment. Together we rise and fall, united in our mission to bring joy to players. While awards are a thrill, our ultimate goal is smiles on players' faces. When we focus on each other as a team and on delighting our players as creators, we give ourselves the best chance of success. We tackle challenges as one, invest in each other's growth, communicate openly, and embrace our diverse player community. Our aim to be our best selves while bringing out the best in each other. What does that sound like to you? We tackle challenges as one, invest in each other's growth, communicate openly, probably just as long as you agree. Now, I don't know what we're going to get out of Hidden Grove, but there is, again, some interesting stuff on their website, but there's not a ton of information. The point is, these guys are all speaking the same language that we're seeing that comes out of Bridge. Again, I don't know that they're actually tied together, but there is one thing I do know. If you go to IGN and you search for games produced by Probably Monsters, you only get one. So let's go on this journey together. Let's see if we can find where they might actually be tied in some way with Cheryl Daija, other than the partnership of Sony and the purchased Firewalk Studios. I'd be curious to see if there's anything there, because I think this is more than DEI. This is changing the culture from the C-suite to the product, including the marketing. And that's what we saw Concord just completely disregard. And the reason that their game failed. I am Hayden Wayne 75. Thank you guys for checking out the video. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, share, all of that stuff. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Later.